Hi everybody, thanks for joining me today. So, as I said last session, I'm converting back to diagonal, but you can see I kind of went out of it a bit because that's just sort of the way the colors went. So I don't usually stitch in squared off blocks, but the colors kind of did that, so I just followed where they led. I adapt my technique to the pattern rather than the pattern to my technique. Yeah, so after all that complaints about the cold summer we're having now, be careful what you wish for, because now we're in the midst of a bit of a heat wave, so. Yeah, I had to cut my walk short because it was getting hot, and also still breaking in my shoes, and I'm getting a blister on my back of my ankle, so that's no fun. Yeah, I didn't realize till I started walking I would have stuck a bandage over it, but oh well. Okay, park it there. So, there's a fair amount of color changing for this top bit, but then once we get down here, you can see there's a whole whack of those solid diamond color. So that section should go pretty quick. Yeah, there's not as much flowers and stuff as there was up above with the tree leaves. That was a lot of confetti. And then we're gonna come into the fountain as we move to the right and get to stitch the last of our swans, I think. I think they're in this pass across the pattern. So hope you all aren't melting too much wherever you are. Okay, 413. Yeah, I suspect we'll have a few threads of this 413 color. Okay. Yeah, so I finally ordered my new glasses yesterday. I said I hadn't had new ones for 6 years, so I guess it was beyond time to get new ones. The ones I have right now are a bit scratched, and I noticed my vision distance isn't quite what it used to be, so it was time to upgrade. It was actually quite neat. They used to, when they were fitting you for the new ones, they would have you put them on and they would mark on the plastic lenses where your pupils are to, you know, sort of light it up better. Well, now they have this little almost looks like a caliper thing that fits on the frame, and then they take a picture and it digitally shows them exactly where, because they said most people, your glasses don't sit perfectly straight on your face. You know, most people will have one ear is a little bit higher, or your nose isn't quite symmetrical, or whatever it is, which can cause issues with the them actually putting the proper part of the prescription over the proper part of your eye for them to work best. And yeah, so they said this is like within 1 millimeter now, as it's all done digitally. So yeah, it's pretty neat. So I'll be interested to see what it's like, because this is the first time I've ever had that done. Before it was just kind of marking it and guesstimating it by hand, which, while it was still pretty good, you know, this sounds like it's going to be even more precise. So Yeah, well, I said I had a hard time finding some frames because I'm, of course, blind without the glasses, so I have to put it on and, you know, practically have my nose against the mirror to see what it looks like on me. But also, I have a slightly wider than average head, so a lot of them were a no because they were squeezing my temples, and they said they can sort of, pardon me, bend them out a little bit if necessary. But yeah, I just searched till I found ones that were not squeezing my face. And then they don't have to bend the frame and such as much when they adjust it. And there's a lot of styles out there that don't have the nose pads on them, and I don't like that. I find that uncomfortable. My son and my husband, and I think my sister too, will wear the glasses that don't have the nose pads, but yeah, they're not my thing. Although, man, I remember it was like in the late 80s, early 90s, somebody came up with a material for making nose pads that was supposed to be like more comfortable, but the problem was it was more porous, and actually you would sweat underneath it, and then when you were taking your glasses off, it felt like it was ripping a layer of skin off, and your nose, where the nose pads rested, would be all raw. I remember once even putting tiny little pieces of tissue under them because it was not comfortable. And yeah, I think I only had that for one pair of glasses, and I think I wasn't the only person who had that experience because yeah, they stopped making those. Yeah, they were supposed to be more comfortable. They were not. They were extremely uncomfortable. And my sister said she had the same thing. It wasn't too bad in the winter, but in the summer when you're getting hot and sweaty, or oh, it was not nice at all. Yeah, things have changed a lot. I remember my dad getting dents in his nose because they were actually glass for glasses, right? They call it that, but they generally don't use glass anymore. It's plastic or epoxy or whatever. And especially now the technology keeps getting better to make a higher index lens so that it's not as thick for the higher prescriptions, so you don't have to have the Coke bottles. Yeah, because of course my prescription is actually higher now than it was when I was a kid, but the glasses are thinner than the ones I had as a kid. So the technology keeps improving. So yeah, it's just they're having a 2-for-1 sale, so you can get 2 regular glasses, you can get 1 shades and 1 glasses, but I actually prefer, I have these like cheap $10 wraparound sunglasses that fit over my glasses, and I found I preferred those to prescription sunglasses because switching between the two is kind of a pain. So now I can wear my sunglasses as I walk into the store and then, you know, put them up on my head and I don't have to be carrying another pair of glasses. Because yeah, I lost a pair of prescription sunglasses once. That hurt. But I said, man, you know, 2-for-1 is good, but I kind of wish they'd let me just buy 1 for half the price. Because yeah, it was almost $600. Ouch. Yeah, and I've had people say, you know, you can go online to these cheaper places, but I tried getting cheaper glasses once and I could not see. I kept waiting to adjust because, you know, it can take a few days sometimes to really adjust to new glasses, especially if there's a big change in your prescription. So I kept waiting for them to adjust, and it just didn't. And after 3 weeks, I gave up. And I went back to my old place to get glasses made there. And they said, you know, what are you doing here? Because I had moved since then. I was in a new town. And I said, well, I went to a local place there, ended up with glasses I can't see with. I know you guys know how to make glasses because you've made my last 3 pairs before that. So yeah, I'm not taking a chance on another new place after that. I said, okay, fair enough, you know. I mean, we don't mind. You want us to make your glasses and pay us for it? We'll take your money. Yeah, thought about the laser eye surgery, but one of my aunts had it done, and it really messed with her close-up vision, and she can't sew anymore. And I'm like, oh gosh, if I couldn't see to stitch anymore, I would just be devastated. So, and also she had major dry eye issues after, and I already have dry eye problems. So I definitely don't want to take the risk of exacerbating it. So I'm like, yeah, you know what? I'm gonna stick with glasses. I tried contacts for a while, but again, the dry eye thing made them very uncomfortable. So yeah, glasses it is. Yeah, someone was saying like more than half the population needs vision correction, and yet you almost never see a character with glasses on the screen unless it's specifically written into their character, like say Alice in the Magicians or Harry Potter, of course. And they said, well, it's because you know, reflections of lights and boom mics and stuff can be a pain to work around with glasses, but yeah, like I said, it's not really a realistic representation, right? Yeah, and they were saying too that it's harder to get rimless glasses for the higher prescriptions, because again, the lens is a bit heavier, so yeah. I think glasses can be pretty cute. Yeah, they said also with the higher prescriptions, if it's even slightly off, it can cause you a lot of problems with eye strain. So, I mean, yeah, I recognize they're trying to sell me something, but yeah, as I have had the experience of having glasses that were not done correctly, yeah, I am not going to take the chance. I can get headaches too easily. I don't need to risk making that worse. There we go. Okay. Oh, and good news, my son got his eyes checked and his prescription hasn't changed for the last like 3 or 4 years, so that's good. I said, I'm glad, because when I was your age, mine were still going up like a point a year. So I'm glad yours seem to have stabilized. Yeah, I had him checked before he started kindergarten, because both me and his dad need glasses, so we figured if our kids don't, bonus, but we pretty much counted on the fact that any child we had was going to need glasses. Okay. Oh, there we go. Missed by parking mark. Okay. Okay, this piece should be just long enough, I think. Yeah. Okay. Those don't seem quite right. There we go. Want them to lie nice and flat and even. Not all wonky. Yeah, I had the people at the glasses place saying how much my kid had grown in the last year, because yeah, he is now taller than me. And yeah, they remember him because we brought him in for his first eye exam when he was 5, so. Yeah, they grow up so fast. You know, I always heard adults saying that when I was a kid, but yeah, now that I have my own kid, I get it. They really do. Okay. So yeah, I ended up with multiple threads here, but that way I'm not closing anything in, and as you can see, it's kind of working out anyway. Yeah, this one will run out soon, so I would have needed another thread anyway. Okay, and there's one I can finish off. Oops, if I could highlight it, be done with it. Ah, it's only long enough for a single stitch anyway. Yeah, when we were at my in-laws, they don't have central air conditioning, so, and they had a heat wave then, so yeah, it was pretty hot, and it was pretty cute. They have a couple of guinea pigs, and they don't sweat, so one of them was just sitting by its water dish with its paws in the cool water to stay cool. It was pretty darn cute. Yeah, or I heard one trick you can do is you can put their little igloo house. We call it a pigloo, so it looks like a little igloo, but it's for piggies. So, and they said, and then you can put an ice pack on top of it and makes the air inside cool, in case it's too hot, so they don't get a heat stroke. But of course, make sure you use one that's only ice water inside, in case they manage to get it and chew on it. You don't want anything with gel in there. That could potentially make them sick, of course. Yeah, we're not that hot that we have to worry about that, thankfully. Yeah. I like to take my walk first thing in the morning. I run across quite a lot of people walking their dogs because, yeah, they want to get the walk in before it gets too hot for them. let's see how long this one is. Ah, yeah, perfect. Okay, so this one is short, so we will do this one stitch that it's parked in and then tie it off. Yeah, that works out. Yeah, so like I said, I had to cut my walk short, but gives me an excuse to sit down and stitch and make a video for you all. Not that I really need one, but oh, garbage truck is out there. Kiddo's old enough, he's not as fascinated by it. He's on his computer. Yeah, I remember once we had some road work being done on our street. I think they had to like replace a water pipe or something underneath, and so I said, yeah, he didn't mind when I told him no more screen time because he got to sit there and watch the excavators and stuff work. So yeah, he grabbed a folding chair and put it by the window, was just parked there the whole day. Yeah, we had one time at my husband's work, they had to use a little bobcat. They'd rented it, so after work my husband took our son there. He was like 3 or 4, and he's having the time of his life moving the bucket up and down and stuff. It was pretty darn cute. Okay. Okay, so reaching the edge of this diagonal. And then as you can see, it starts to go a bit more vertical again because of the shape of the fountain is square. Okay, so I'm actually going to unthread that because it's out of the diagonal. I think I may in fact just put all these aside. Yeah. So I stopped a little bit before the line there, but like I said, I don't do very sharp straight lines. I just follow the colors, so that's what I'll do there too. Okay, 550. Have lots of little pieces, so there we are. Didn't want to stay in my tray. Okay, so yeah, as you can see, big solid block of color here. Still trying to keep from closing stuff in. So I have a fair amount of threads here, but not too many needles on threads, so we should be good. We shouldn't get tangled. Of course, now that I said that, I probably jinxed myself. Yeah, so it's funny, we started watching the Spider-Man reboot. That was in 2017 with Tom Holland. And Marvel movies, they like to put things mid-credits and at the end of the credits. So they had one where you got to the end of the credits and it was like a little Captain America, like public service announcement kind of thing. Yeah, and he says, you know, you have to learn patience. Sometimes you wait long for something and then it just ends up being kind of disappointing. And like, that was it. It's like, oh, you jerks, they totally trolled you. I said, luckily, you know, we're watching it, we're streaming it, so I was able to fast forward through the credits. But yeah, they did that, made people sit through all the credits just for them to get trolled that there was nothing really that funny at the end, which was kind of funny in and of itself. Yeah, I remember years ago during the summer, my sister and I liked Monty Python, and we discovered it was showing on TV every weekday, so we would watch it. And there's one where John Cleese comes out in armor on the beach, and he says, you know, you can just, we didn't have enough material this week, so you can just turn it off now. There's no more jokes. So we didn't believe him because, you know, Monty Python. So we sat there, and it turned out, yeah, it was just 5 minutes of the waves crashing on the shore, and there really were no jokes. So I guess the joke was on us. Yeah, when we went to see Wonder Woman in theaters, and then at the end we ended up asking the ushers if there's anything after the credits. Of course, that's DC, not Marvel. Yeah, they don't put stuff mid and end credits. Marvel does to encourage people to stay and actually sit through the credits. I remember there was someone who said they always sat through the credits because they kind of felt that the people who worked on the movie deserved it. Yeah, to them it was like a sign of respect to sit through the whole thing. So yeah, I thought that was kind of an interesting perspective. But yeah, for me, usually by the time the movie ends, I gotta get out of there and rush to the bathroom. Oh, I do not have a big bladder, so. Yeah, that's one nice thing about nowadays, streaming the movie at home. You can pause it when you need to. And snacks also don't cost you, you know, $12 for a bowl of popcorn. I mean, I get that's where they really make their money, but gee. Yeah, the last time I went to the actual theater was to watch Avengers Endgame. Of course, that was pre-pandemic, like 2019, I think. Yeah. I said, man, the theater is really trying to keep people there because they had reclining seats, and not just the kind where you have to push back against them, because they had that one place, and I'm like, well, I'm too weak to push it back. It's uncomfortable. But these ones were actually like actual recliners that you can get, like Lazy Boys. So yeah. I said, wow, they're really trying to keep people here. Because yeah, those were nice. Because yeah, it wasn't just push the seat back. You actually had a footrest too. Okay. Yeah, when I go to the movies, I don't get drinks anyway because I want to be able to make it through the movie without needing a bathroom break. Okay. There is only enough thread here to do these 2 stitches, and actually that works out because that will keep me from closing in that triangle, empty triangle stitch that would be above these if I did all 3 of them. So that is why I chose to do it that way. All right, this will be another thread I can tuck away till I do the next diagonal. Yeah, we don't often go to see movies in the theater, but after the way Infinity War ended, we didn't want to wait for it to come out on DVD. I was surprised actually that I hadn't heard any spoilers about it. And then yeah, after I finished watching, I was like, okay, I was definitely not expecting that ending. Oh. One here. Yeah. Okay, so this big block of color kind of has the diagonal going through it, so it'll be kind of split up, I think. try to stagger the line a bit so it doesn't make a sharp, straight diagonal line through it, so that I don't end up with lines in the finished piece. I haven't had that problem yet, but just in case, I'm gonna take care to try to avoid the possibility of it happening. Because trying to fix it after it's happened is pretty difficult. That one's a little bit loose. Just gonna pull that back. There. Now it's nice and smooth. There, just trying not to stitch over my grid line. Makes it easier to remove later. Okay, this one is in the next diagonal, however, it's only long enough for one stitch, so I'm gonna do it. And then I have one less thread left to deal with. Oh, if I can thread my needle, that is, my gosh. There. There we go. Okay. See how long. Okay, this thread is somewhat decent length. Okay. I'm gonna see if I can keep from closing stuff in and doing it out of order if I'm gonna have to go outside my guidelines. The way these threads are crossing past each other, it looks like I might have to do them out of order. We shall see. Or occasionally I will do it when I just don't feel like switching threads that often. Then sometimes I will do it. As Karen the Needlebug says, the only rules are the ones you make for yourself. Okay. Yeah, so after this sort of big block here, we got a bunch of confetti because I think there might be another flower here. Or a bit of a leaf. We shall see what it is. Okay. So if this piece had been short, too short, I would have started a new one up there for those two, but as this looks like it's long enough, I'm going to carry it back up there. Right. So far, so good. So yeah, the color here is kind of going opposite the diagonal, so that results in more frequent thread changes. That's all right. I don't mind. It keeps things interesting. Okay, I think this one might be it for this thread. Maybe, maybe not. Actually, yeah, I think I can get one more out of it, so I will do that. I'll leave it threaded, although I'm not sure I'll actually get much out of it. It's a little bit of a longer carry, but it's going to get stitched over. And it's still less than an inch, so I don't mind doing that. Oh. Okay. Okay, I did not have to close anything in or do anything out of order. Cool. Okay, so I did all that just to fill in that one so that I could do this this row without closing anything in. Ooh. Yeah. Go. Yeah, I was working on my firefly piece the other day, so I was too tired to count accurately. I think I'm getting more knots because it's a smaller count. It's 18 count instead of 14, and I'm using the same number of strands, 2. So I'm guessing because it's a bit of a tighter squeeze, it forms more knots. Or at least it seemed that way anyway. Yeah, I still haven't even hit 2% on that one. Oh dear. Oh, like I said, that's why after this one I intend to do a project that's a little bit smaller. It's less than 60,000 stitches for a bit of faster gratification that time around. So as you can see, I did not the same slope that way. I shouldn't get a line. So this one I'll probably go 2 stitches shy instead of just 1. Or if you wanted, you could go 1 more if you didn't care about closing that one in. Whatever works for you. Let's try that again. Okay, yeah, that is the last stitch I am getting out of that thread. Well, making some good progress here. Oh yeah, this will definitely be all I get out of this one. There we go. End was coming up there. Didn't look so pretty. Okay. Okay. Oh, for another percent, 76. Woohoo. Yeah, saying how I have kind of a square here. I've seen one where people do theirs in square boxes for their diagonal instead of like an actual sloping line. So, yeah, different ways people have of doing it. Okay. Oh dear. There we go. Try not to get a knot in my thread as I separate it. Oh dear. Caught a different needle in the loop there. That will not work. Okay, I'm gonna check the length of the other ones I have parked around here. See how long they are. Yeah. For now, I'll carry this one. I may end it off if I end up with too many threads in an area. Yeah, every time you have to end off and start again, you use up more threads, so if I can avoid doing that, I do. Yeah, I managed to make it through that section without closing anything in. Cool. Okay, so I'm going to start a new one there. 38, 48. Okay. 'Cause it was more of a leaf here, but I do know I'm going to have another flower down here. I can see all the purples and pinks because I have the symbols memorized now. Okay. Well, not all of them, but most of them. $192. Okay, I think I'll try and go to a 200 today. Okay. See what else I've got. Okay, so I have a short one to do this one by itself, so I'm going to park over down here because this is a fairly long piece. So, and sort of if I parked it to the one that's over to the right, I would end up having to do something out of order and a fairly long carry across the back. So that's why I'm choosing to do it that way. If I hadn't had a short piece available, I'm not sure what I would have decided to do. But I did, so I guess it's a moot point, right? Oh, look at that. That'll bring me to a nice even 200. once I finish these 3 stitches. Okay, there we go. So nice even 200. Seems like a good place to stop. So as usual, thanks for joining me today, and I hope to see you here again another time. All right, thanks everyone. Bye.